Hi, in this video we're going to tackle the challenge within full site editing WordPress block themes. We have page layout features that you may not have had a chance to dig deep into understanding. So the challenge is we're going to have a website and we need to have at least the one container have a background image to be the full width of the screen and the content width to be 50% of the screen width. So let's dive in. So we have WordPress 6.3.2 installed, and I'll show you something you may not have noticed yet, but if I go into the editor, I can see pages now within 6.3 and up. We now have access to pages within the site editor. This is a new UI they're working on where everything will all end up in one place, so you don't have to go back and forth to the dashboard and then back into this section here. So here I can go to a page. So I'm going to work on this page here, page layout. And once I click in this area here, then I can see the global styles icon there. If I open that up and I choose layout, I can see the presets here. For content, it's 650 pixels, and for wide, it's 1200 pixels. So within here, we can see that the menu and the featured image both have the 1200 wide setting, and then here this title and then this text here is using the 650. And then I've done something here that I wanted to explain. How would I get this variation? Because you can see that it's neither the 650 nor the 1200. These settings actually come from a file called theme.json. So block themes will always have this file, and that's where theme creators will put in those values. They're called these presets for the content width of 650 and then the wide width of 1200. All right, so we're back in the editor here and we're looking at a page, and I wanted to point out a few things. So if I go into the list view, I can see these little locks here, and that is dictated by the template. But I do have access to my content here, and I wanted to get started with my challenge now. My challenge is to have the background image be the full width of the screen and the content to be 50% of the screen width. So if I go get a view here of the site, what page, then I can see that again the menu is using the 1200 pixels. This text here is using 650, and then here we've got a container with a background image, and it is the full width of the screen, and then we've got the content inside of it 50%. So I can illustrate that even more by going in here and having a responsive setting. And as I increase the screen width, you can see that the menu is always 1200, this text is always 650, but you can see here my content is growing. It's always 50% of the screen width. Okay, so I'll show you how to do that. So before we jump into the solution to this challenge, I wanted to make sure that we did a quick little review on units. So we've got the pixels right now for our width, and that's an absolute length. That's not ideal for responsive design. So that's why we have these relative lengths. And the one that I want to talk about is VW. That's the viewport width. So I said 50% of the viewport. So in other words, the screen width. So whatever the device is, I want the content, meaning this text here, to always be the width of 50% of the screen. All right. All right, so I'm going to hop back into the list view, and then if I jump down to the cover block, expand that there, then I can see here, once I've got cover selected, if I go over into the block settings, then I can see that inner blocks use content width. That's been applied, which means that the inner blocks, meaning these blocks here, can have the content width applied to them, as opposed to using the 1200, it would use 650. However, in our case, we're overriding that setting by entering in a value of 50, and then we're making sure that the unit is VW. Okay, so the last part of the challenge is having the background image be the full width of the screen. So I just wanted to point out here, when we've got cover selected, if we go over to here, the settings here, we can see all of the different options and the fact that the container is using full width. So if I were to select 12 wide, that would get reduced to the same width as the featured image. So I hope that all makes sense and you found this video helpful. Leave me your questions below. I'll see you there.